And finally, we have come to the proofs. All that we're going to do is use the law of detachment and the law of syllogism to string our properties and definitions together to justify each step of the problem. The formal definition of a proof is a convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning. Once again, the law of detachment and the law of syllogism. The most common kind of proof that you run across in this course is the two-column proof. And that's a proof that lists the statements and their justifications or reasons in two different columns. Usually the statements are on the right and the reasons are on the left. And this is what they generally look like. You will be given certain information and you will be asked to prove other information about a figure that you will also be given. Notice how we start our proofs. We start it with the information that we are given, and the reason for the information, of course, is given. Notice how we end the proof. We always end it with what we are trying to prove. But notice that the word prove does not appear as a reason. That is never a reason. What we'll need to do is find a property or definition or postulate that allows us to determine our final statement. It's important to note that not all proofs have 5 steps. This is just an example to show you what it might look like. Some proofs have 3 steps, some have 5, others have 8. It all depends upon what is given and what the figure looks like. Let's do that very proof that you saw on the previous slide. So let's start this exactly like it showed on the first slide. The measure of angle 1 has to equal the measure of angle 3. Notice that there, and the reason for that is because it is given to us. Now, given can be a reason, prove cannot. Keep that in mind. Somehow we need to talk about angle AEC here. And I'm looking at that, and that involves both this angle 1 here and angle 2 here, doesn't it? And if I look at angle DEB, that involves angle 3 here and also angle 2. So both of these things involve angle 2. So I'm going to do something really crazy here. And I am going to say the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 2. What allows us to say something is equal to itself? That is the reflexive property of equality. So let's see what we can do with this particular statement now that we have both of these things. Let's combine statements 1 and 2 and say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2. Now notice, all that we've done was add the same thing to both sides of our original equation. What allows us to do that? The addition property of equality. So notice, all that I'm doing is justifying each step of my problem. Let's go back to see what we're looking at here. Measure of angle AEC is going to be, angle 1 plus angle 2. They're 2 measures added together. So we can actually say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle AEC. What allows us to make that statement? 2 angle measures added together equal the big angle measure. You have to think back to chapter 1. Do you remember the angle addition postulate? This is why we need to make sure we remember all of these postulates and definitions. We can't forget them because we are going to be coming back to them time and time again. But along with that, still here on step 4, what is the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2? Well, if we take those 2 angles, the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 gives us this other angle that we're looking for, right? That gives us the measure of angle DEB. And once again, that's the angle addition postulate. That's why we can put them both in the same step, because it's the same reason. So now we've done this, but we can tie step 3 and step 4 together using the substitution property of equality. What I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute the measure of angle AEC in for the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2, and I'm going to substitute the measure of angle DEB in for the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2. There we have our proof for this problem. If you want to see how the law of detachment applies, click on the appropriate button below. It'll take you to a video to explain it.